Coming up is race number 12 on a fantastic Saturday card at the fairgrounds. It's Louisiana Derby preview day. It's the Rachel Alexandra Grade 2, $300,000 at a mile and a 16th for the 3-year-old fillies. And Scott Shapiro, big race on the road to the Longines. Kentucky Oaks, 50 points to the winner.
Yeah, real fun race. It's a compact group, but it is a quality group of fillies looking to stamp themselves as major players on the road to the Kentucky Oaks, maybe the Kentucky Derby, Joe.
Yeah, just maybe one step at a time, as Tom Amoss has been telling us all week. But he's got Hoosier filly, and she's been super impressive. She hasn't run yet as a 3-year-old, but her 2-year-old race to Scott, she basically didn't even have to try, particularly her two-turn races where she got a little bit bored in the stretch. I think she's got a lot more to give.
Yeah, I happen to agree with that as well. Definitely someone that believes in numbers, but when it comes to a horse that hasn't been asked in 3 tries, there's no telling where her ceiling is. You mentioned her getting a little bit lost out there. You did a great interview earlier this morning with Tom Amoss, definitely worth checking out. But Hoosier filly to me is just a class above, at least until is proven otherwise, even against the likes of some really other talented fillies that are in this race that normally I'd give a big look to.
She's had 3 works here at fairgrounds, and she's fired 3 bullets, and it doesn't even look like she's going fast. And then you look at your stopwatch, and you're like, man, she was going fast. So we'll see if she can put on another show on Saturday. If she does, Scott, the Louisiana Derby looming the final Saturday in March. And in order to run in the Kentucky Derby, if they're even thinking that she's 11-1 in future pool number 4 for the Kentucky Derby, they're going to have to run against the boys.
They sure are, and hopefully we get to that point. I know both of you and I are unwilling to take on Hoosier filly, who's expected to be odds on in this spot. But yeah, she'll have to run in the Louisiana Derby or another Kentucky Derby prep race to have a shot at points. Let's say Hoosier filly wasn't in this race, Joe. Who do you think your pick would be?
Well, I mean, Chop Chop's putting the blinkers on, and her stablemate, the Alice Look, did run very well last out in the Silver Bullet Day. It looked like Chop Chop was going to go right by her. Did she hang a little bit in the stretch? Was she a little bit short on fitness? That remains to be seen. Maybe the Alice Look is just pretty good, but putting the blinkers on, I'm not surprised at all by that move by Brad Cox.
Yeah, I would expect her to be a little bit more prominent. She's been a horse that's been towards the tail of the field in a number of her starts. And like you said, the Alice Look, who beat her, had a recency edge. That horse had a number of races in a row while Chop Chop was coming off the bench. Chop Chop's got a lot of talent. It's a matter of working at a trip, and if the blinkers help, sometimes we see the blinkers go on and it doesn't really benefit. In fact, the horses fail to relax or maybe don't, work out the trip that you would expect. But for me too, Chop Chop would be the one that I would go to. Any thoughts on Miracle? I mean, this is a horse that I know some of our colleagues are a little bit interested in.
No. I think it would be a little bit short of a miracle if she won, but I don't know. I mean, a pretty mischievous. She's been the model of consistency, but she flatters Hoosier filly because she had no answer for Hoosier filly back at Churchill. I think the horse with the upside is Vava. She lost all chance in the Untappable at the start. She ran on to be 3rd behind Pretty Mischievous. She's trained well since. The connections are very high on her. That's the horse to me who's got the upside, who has the right to take the biggest step forward.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot to ask to win this race, but moving forward, I agree. She's got a bright future. It appears she ran huge in that maiden breaker at Churchill back on November 26th when she was hammered at the windows, but it's all Hoosier filly for me, Joe.
Will she get looked on in the eye? Will she put on another show? Maybe those are the 2 questions that need to be answered by Hoosier filly on Saturday at the fairgrounds. In the Grade 2, $300,000 Rachel Alexandra, 50 points to the winner on the road to the Longines Kentucky Oaks.